President Biden recently signed an additional executive order on the refugee system, specifically rebuilding and enhancing programs to resettle refugees. As you probably know, under the Trump era, refugee resettlement was cut pretty close to the bone, to historic lows. But President Biden aims to restore America's place as the country that is a beacon for refugees across the world, which America until recently had been really since World War II, or since I should say after World War II, when the origins of the modern refugee system really took root. So this executive order does a couple of things. First of all, it rescinds a bunch of Trump-era executive orders, orders you may have heard of that banned refugees entirely, that instituted extreme vetting, and that required state and local consent to even resettle a refugee who had been through all the hurdles that already exist. So those Trump-era orders are gone. In their place, the new Biden executive order initiates a whole new effort to improve the transparency, the efficiency, the speed, and the fairness of our refugee admissions program, including, and this is interesting, during the COVID era, potentially plans to conduct refugee interviews remotely, which is probably the safest way to do it. We do everything else on Zoom right now. Perhaps we should be doing refugee interviews remotely as well. All of these process improvements might sound a little bit in the weeds, but they're so incredibly important if the Biden administration is going to hit the president's goal of restoring, not only restoring refugee admissions, but increasing them beyond the status quo to up to 125,000 per year. There's also new efforts to streamline something called the Special Immigrant Visa Program, which has been the primary pathway for Iraqi and Afghan interpreters and others who have assisted the U.S. military and who are at risk in their home countries to establish a new life in the United States. People have been trapped in literally deadly backlogs. And so this order aims to fix that and also consider whether nationals of other countries should be eligible for special immigrant visas. And then finally, this executive order does something quite new, which is directing the government to come up with future recommendations to the president on how we can best protect refugees who are being harmed by climate change. So not just war and instability caused by direct human conflict, but also by the ravages of climate change. This is a really important executive order. It's really personal for me. I think that being welcoming to refugees is part of core American values.